Hello, my name is Mark Linton. I'm Director of the Career Service and Deputy Academic Registrar at Newcastle University, and I'm going to be talking for the next few minutes on your career. I hope that you find this short talk interesting and useful. And what I'm really going to cover is a little bit about the graduate job market and the job prospects of graduates generally, but with a lot of focus on prospects for Newcastle University graduates. Talk about the support from the University Career Service and indeed the wider university. And then I'm just going to finish my talk with some tips for career success, which hopefully will help you to get the most out of your university experience and help you to be successful in the future, however you define that success for yourself. The place I'm going to start is the university. And you'll be familiar, I hope, with our mission, which is to advance education and research and to help society tackle the many challenges that it faces. You'll see from our strapline, we're a very outward looking university from Newcastle for the world. So the education that we offer is to prepare you for your future life and from my perspective, for your future career. The research that we do, whether that's through our students or our staff, whether it's with collaborators, be those in industry or other universities, is about uh, is about the impact that that research can have. Now, that might be on the places in which we have our campuses, so Newcastle, Singapore, Malaysia, but it is also on the wider world. And there are many advances that the university has helped to create. Um, we are very fortunate at Newcastle University that we attract students from all over the world, and they massively enrich the experience that we're able to offer to our students who come from the UK. Our students and our graduates also travel, study, and work all around the world, and that's really what we're preparing you for. Whatever it is you want in the future, we're hoping to provide the grounding to help you to be successful. And so if you look at our courses, you'll see that they're underpinned by a graduate framework, the kind of skills, the attributes that we believe will make you successful in the future. This has been developed with employers in the private, public and not-for-profit sector. It's been developed with our graduates who've talked to us about the skills that they feel have made them successful. It's developed by our students about the things that are important to them, our staff and what's important to them. You'll see that it's underpinned by a global and cultural awareness, and that's really important to us is that students are able to reflect upon and have a self-awareness of the kind of skills and their attributes, but also the skills and attributes that we can help them to deliver. Now, hopefully over the course of the next few minutes, as I talk about the graduate job market, you'll see how this fits and how the preparation that we're giving our students will help prepare them for their future. The way I'm going to do that is just by talking about you know some questions about myths and reality, fact or fiction in the graduate job market. So I'll just put up some statements and then I'll just talk about each of those. And the first one is most people have a degree these days, and you know we all hear this that there are far too many graduates, and you know shouldn't we have? Are we preparing too many people with degrees? So of course the answer to this one is no. Most people uh, these days don't have a degree. It's getting to the point where probably half of the workforce have got a degree, and increasing proportion of the adult population have got a degree. But it's still the case that a degree, an undergraduate qualification, will open up opportunities to you that non-graduates don't have. It will also help to provide a transformative experience that will hopefully open up the avenues of what it is you want to be successful for you. My second question or myth about the job market, graduate job market, is this one. There aren't enough jobs for graduates. And again, this is something which people often say. Um, you're producing too many graduates, there aren't enough jobs for them. Well, let's have a look. We do a survey of graduates. All universities contribute to a survey of graduates 15 months after they leave higher education. When we did the last survey, nearly three-quarters of graduates, and this is 15 months after they left, were already in professional level jobs. And if you look at the working population, just about half of the UK population is working in professional level jobs. What I don't think happens is that people necessarily get the job they want straight away. But in terms of, are there enough jobs for graduates? Um, then the skills that graduates have are needed in the economy to help us to be successful. So, third question: if I study subject X, then that is what I will have to do in my career. Um, and again, quite often people say, well, this is what I'm thinking about. Does that mean I have to work in that area when I finish? Well, the positive news, the good news is that 70% of graduate jobs don't specify the degree discipline that they're looking for. What they're really asking is that the applicants have a degree level um, qualification and all of the experience that that gives. And when they're recruiting, they're looking for a degree as a starting point, but they're looking for things like your experience, your skills, your attributes, and those are the kind of things that make you the rounded candidate and will help you into the career that you want to pursue. Um, so it's most definitely not the case, and I've picked up in the next question. Students applying to university know what career they want to pursue. And I've already said that university is a transformative experience. So perhaps it's no surprise that we survey our students, and half of Newcastle University students go into their final year without having decided what they want to do next. Now, some of these might be students who thought they had a good idea what they wanted to do and have changed their mind. Of course, there are students like medics or dentists or engineers or teachers who probably, most of those, they've got a good idea what they want to do and they leave. But if you're studying some of the other subjects, some of our humanities subjects, students won't have any real idea necessarily what they want to do, and that is one of the roles of higher education, to help students decide what it is they want to do. And if I can give a plug to the career service, that is one of the things that we help students to do, to make decisions about their future career. So graduates only work for big business. Well, and you can see some examples on this slide. And of course they don't. Many graduates are attracted by the larger companies, by graduate schemes, and of course we prepare students who and help them to get the jobs with those companies. They're a very important part of the graduate job market. But if you look across graduates generally, then many are working in smaller and medium-sized employers. And you'll see on this slide that 30% of graduates were working in companies of less than 250 employees. There are some sectors where small and medium-sized employers are especially important. Interestingly, when you look at London, you might think, well, that is where a lot of graduates go and work for the larger firms, but actually small and medium-sized employers are a really important part of London and the south of England. And of course, many graduates choose to become self-employed, freelance, start their own businesses, and that is an important part of what we offer at the university. So yes, some graduates go to work for big businesses, and many don't. Which brings me probably to London. Um, one of the things that people often say about the graduate job market is, well, aren't most jobs in London? And of course, many jobs are, but it's also the case that many jobs aren't in London. Um, and actually, whilst there are a number of grads who do go to London each year, and you're round about a fifth, most people and most graduates never work in London. And thankfully, most don't live there, because if you look at the graduate salaries in London, yes, they might be higher than the UK as a whole, but actually, um, the cost of living in London compared with other parts of the country makes other parts of the country much more accessible and affordable, and desirable. So of course we help students who want to go and work in London, but we also recognise that many graduates choose not to. And when you look at data from our last Destination of Leavers from Higher Education survey, this shows that graduates really are working. These are graduates are working all over the country. So you'll see there some of the graduates working in London and boroughs of London and the south and southeast of England. But you'll also see cities like Birmingham, Manchester, Leeds, Glasgow, Edinburgh, and of course as you move over, Newcastle, Nottingham, Cardiff, Sheffield. Um, one of the important things about the graduate job market is that the cities that I've highlighted there have got complete or near complete graduate job markets. And what I mean by that is that you could choose to stay in a city like Newcastle and you could get just about any graduate job that you want to. And one of our jobs is to help graduates to find. And of course, this is even without the impact of working from home. And companies over the next 18 months are really going to be working out how they adapt to blended working, home working, and such like. And it'll be really interesting to see the impact of that. And you can already see that now, where people are saying actually you can take this job wherever suits you. So it'll be interesting to keep an eye on that. Another thing that is really interesting is interesting but probably not surprising is that most graduates either work where they studied or work where they lived before they studied. So you'll see on here 58% of graduates from 2019 worked where they studied. 68% went 68% are working in their home region. So that might be students who studied in their home region and have stayed. It also might be students who went to university in another city and have come home. But actually, less than 20%, less than a fifth, found work where they'd neither lived nor studied. Um, so actually, it's more unusual to think that you would go somewhere completely new to start your graduate career. If you look at Newcastle University, um, as I said before, we do a survey of all our graduates to find out what they're doing 15 months after graduating. 95, just over 95% of our graduates are in work or study 15 months after graduating. The important thing is that the vast majority of these are in graduate level work or graduate level study, postgraduate study. I think, I believe that most people go to university in order to get a better job than if they didn't go to university. And so it's heartening to see that the vast majority of graduates from the university are going straight into graduate level work or study, and that's really what we are about. But equally, I've talked about the kind of attraction of the regional job markets. So every year, this is always consistent, around about 40% plus of Newcastle University graduates stay in the northeast. And if you look at the type of jobs that they're doing, of those who've stayed in the northeast, 80% are employed at graduate level. So they're choosing to stay and they're working at a graduate level. In terms of progressing into graduate level work or study, one of the things that can make a massive difference to students is taking a 9 to 12 month placement, a work placement in the private, public or not-for-profit sector. And you can see that even last year during COVID, 6.2% of our undergraduate students who were eligible for a placement year took up this option. I say eligible because we don't include in this students like medics and dentists who do placements as part of their learning experience. But if you just look at the table here, then the proportion who did a placement and then went into highly skilled or graduate level work or study was 92.1% compared with 84.6% of our general student body. If you look at graduate level work, then actually the proportion going into graduate level work from a 9 to 12 month placement is substantially greater. Um, so, it's not for everyone, but we certainly make this opportunity available to all of our students. I'd strongly encourage students to think about this. Many employers that we talk to say that they recruit through a placement year, and as I said, it's this opportunity is available on any of our courses for any of our students. And if you come to Newcastle and would like to think about a placement year, come and talk to us early, and we can give you advice that can hopefully help you to secure an opportunity that you'll be interested in. And I think one of the things I'd say about going to university, hopefully at Newcastle, but wherever it is you want to study, is that there'll be all sorts of opportunities alongside your studies, often called extracurricular activities, but things like work experience, opportunities to get involved with entrepreneurship and starting your own business, opportunities to do things like study abroad, or learn new languages that can help enhance your global um, skills and experiences, opportunities to volunteer through the student union or in the local community, opportunities to get involved with leading clubs and societies, to volunteer as a course rep or a peer mentor. Um, there are lots and lots and lots of opportunities alongside your studies that will help to make you successful. Um, and there are lots of ways in which you can get recognition for these things. So at Newcastle, we offer an NCL Plus award, and you can see here that even last year in COVID, over 1,000 students took up this opportunity to gain this additional recognition for the things they've done alongside their studies. Open badges, the recognition on your degree transcript, awards that we offer at Newcastle University. So the Celebrating Success Awards that are organised by our student union, and ultimately the Pride of Newcastle University Awards, where we really recognise students who've gone above and beyond in order to enhance the university or the communities in which we operate. And so, I would strongly encourage you to look at these opportunities to enhance your CV, but also as a way to make friends and get the most out of your university experience. And then, as I've described on here, there are also lots of opportunities within your course. So, the 9 to 12 month placements that we just talked about, career modules, applied dissertations that you might take, a study abroad year. And many of our modules include life consultancies and other types of activities with external organizations where you will get credit for the work that you're doing. I think one of the key things I would say is to not just think about your study, but to think about how you can round your experience. And there are lots of ways in which you can do that. Which brings me really to the kind of the last bit of my talk, and that is really what are my tips for you to be successful. So the first one is going to university is a bit like joining a gym. There is so much available, but if you want to get the most out of it, you need to engage. If you want to get a six pack, it's no good just joining the gym. You actually have to go to the gym. And it's the same for getting the most out of university. Make sure you join things and take up the opportunities that are available to you. So in terms of the career service, you'll find all sorts of help with things like career planning, finding opportunities, researching employers. We can coach you for interviews. We can help you with applications, writing a CV, developing a LinkedIn profile, helping you start your business. We will reach out to you through your course, but in order for you to get the most out of your experience, come and talk to us. Come and get the help that will help you on your way with your career. Second tip I'd say is having a goal, having a target, something you're aiming for. Now, as I've said already, it might be that you join the university with a goal in mind, and actually you change your mind. It might be you have no real idea. One of the things we can help you do through the career service is to help you to think about what it is you want in the future, and to help you to develop the skills and the experience to get into the area that you want to get into. My third tip is to use your university experience to develop the kind of skills and attributes that will make you successful in the future. And I've already talked about the graduate framework and how it underpins our courses and how it underpins our extracurricular activities. And so really my advice is about making sure that you get involved with activities around the university that can help you to develop all of these skills and help develop you into the rounded candidate that organizations are going to be interested in. One of the things about coming to university is that we are preparing you for the job market now, but it's also with one eye on the future and having the kind of skills, the attributes, the outlook that will make you successful, not just today, but also in the future. And this is an interesting piece of work by somebody called Will Hutton, who talks about the kind of change that people will go through and in their lifetimes and the kind of those people born in the 21st century will experience more change in their lifetime than in the last 500 years. And kind of when when I think about that, you kind of think back to some of the things that have transformed life over the years. So the kind of wheel, the printing press, the train, the telephone, and for most for most of us, or for many of us, the internet. And I'm sure that well, I can remember this being introduced to my work and just the transformative effect that this has had. And so if you look at the future that our graduates are going to encounter, when I think about now, phones are getting smaller, they can do more. My Garmin tracks my every waking minute. I'm thinking about an electric bike. I'm thinking that my next car in the future might be an electric car. We've got the transformation of working from home, and all of these things, if I think back, you wouldn't necessarily have even thought were going to be possible. And that is the life, that is the world that our graduates are going to be going into. So you can see in really simple ways, like something like LinkedIn. It used to be about developing your profile, but now it's about recruiters who search you out based on the profile you write. On a very simple level, it's about interviews that have switched from being face to face and in person to being online, and that you might be interviewed by somebody many miles away, overseas or whatever, and that was just unthinkable 20 or even 10 years ago. So develop skills to help you to be successful, gain experience that will help you to be successful in your future, whether that is a 9 to 12 month placement or an internship, summer employment. Many employers now use those experiences as the way in which they are going to recruit. And the other thing, and I did talk a bit about this earlier, is the kind of attitude. Many recruiters will say, we can train you, but actually we're looking for that positive attitude that is the standout. And so, when we talk with our students at Newcastle, we might talk with them about the huge number of students in higher education right now in the UK, the huge numbers of graduates who are coming out of universities, and what will make you successful, what will make you stand out. And one of the things I talked about earlier was that kind of the degree is your starting point, it's your experience, it's your skills, it's your attitude. Those are the things that make you employable. My sixth tip is actually about happiness, things that will make you happy in your future. And this is an equation we often use with our students. And it's to say that in your working life, if you're working full time, you might spend 40 hours a week in work. You might spend 40 weeks a year in work. And historically or previously, you might have spent 40 years of your life in work. Now, fortunately, with life expectancy getting longer and working lives getting longer, it's probable that our graduates now, our students now, are going to spend 50 years of their life in work. So I suppose my tip is about choosing something that will make you happy, because there's nothing worse than waking up on a Monday morning and going into a job that you dislike. So choose something that will make you happy. And really the other thing I would say, and this is my seventh tip, is to not be limited by what you expect to achieve. And the biggest barrier to career success isn't aspiration, it's expectation. And what this means is that we can all aspire to be a politician if that's what you want to do. We can aspire to be a marketing director. We can aspire to be an actress or an actor. But actually, the thing that limits us is often that we don't expect to achieve those things. Um, and so you will know many people who say, I never expected to achieve this. If you want to achieve it, there's nothing to hold you back. And that really brings me back to Newcastle University, because if you look at the university, we're world class, got a worldwide reputation. We're targeted by Times Top 100 businesses in the UK. We've got a leading reputation among employers around the world for the university that produces, top quality graduates. So if you choose to come to Newcastle, you're, you know, you should be confident about your future. Now, it's not, you know, there's confidence about your future, but it's also getting the most out of university to help you to be successful. And I hope my talk and the kind of tips has encouraged you to think that yes, your degree is a starting point, but actually the rest is up to you. How you engage with the university, what you get from it, the kind of experiences that you gain, the skills that you develop, those are the things that will make you successful. So, some resources that hopefully will be helpful, some information about the university career service, and again, if I just think back to an earlier image of the gym, my advice to you would be make the most of being at university, get involved with the university, get involved with the opportunities that we have available to you, make the most of it, and use those not just to not just for your future, but also to help you get the most of being a student and of all that has to offer. I hope that's been useful and interesting. If you do choose to come to Newcastle University, look forward to welcoming you, and we look forward to seeing you in the career service. Thanks very much.